Hey, in today's video, we are gonna build this antique age, distressed, shabby chic, whatever you will call it, mantelpiece or shelf piece that you see behind me. I'm gonna use an artificially aging technique to create this effect after we build it. I was expecting it to have a moderate amount of difficulty, but it actually was incredibly simple. Just allow some time for the undercoat of special glue to dry, and then apply the paint and allow that to dry to get the crackle effect, which looks amazing on this piece. And I learned this technique from one of the videos on Woodworkers Guild of America, which is the sponsor of today's video. Woodworkers Guild of America is an online resource for woodworking instruction, ideas, and information. It features a vast collection of woodworking tutorials, project ideas, product tutorials, and Q&As with expert woodworkers. Not only did I find this video to create the crackle effect incredibly interesting and something that I've wanted to learn to do for a long time, but I learned other simple shop things that are already going to save me money, like fixing your spray paint nozzles from this video right here. I don't like to hand paint, but I use a lot of spray paint in my business, and I'm sometimes only getting half the cans because the nozzles are going out, and then I'm having to switch around nozzles. But this simple technique taught me how to unclog my nozzles and thus even save a little bit of money. Woodworkers Guild of America includes a vast array of new techniques to learn to create new products and items that you could possibly even sell. All the instructional videos are taught by talented and friendly experts that will walk you through each technique step by step, providing expert tips and tricks. And for the first 1,000 of you that click on the link in the video description, you will get a full year of premium membership to Woodworkers Guild of America for only $1.49, valid for new members only. Thank you to Woodworkers Guild of America for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into this build. All right, I got the wood cut. I will put the cut list in the description of the video. First, we have our bottom piece, our front piece, two side pieces. This will end up being the French cleat that will cut, that will go in the back for easy mounting. And then the top piece. Now I know what you're saying, Jake. What's going on here? These aren't lined up. We are gonna miter these corners, so I always give myself some extra in case I mess up. Or also, for these smaller pieces, I don't have to hold this close to the blade, which is nicer, right? Because I don't wanna put my fingers near the blade, neither do you when we're using the miter saw. So that's why I make them bigger, so they're easier to handle. All right, so we're gonna cut those miters now. All right, I did make myself a little cheater line. Saw is set up to the 45. I'm even gonna try to keep my hand out of this as much as possible. Measure it up, hit the clamp to see if I can keep my fingers completely out of the way. Let's see if this is gonna work. All right, looks pretty good. Make sure this end of your clamp stays out. Now, I could have, and probably what I should have done is just made this a lot longer just to hold it. Now this one I'll hold because I've got enough length on it. All right, looking good here. Nice miter. And I'll just make myself a mark right here where to cut it. And then I'll make myself another mark right here in the corner. And I know I need to connect it in at this angle. And this one. I'll cut these two pieces, and then we can sand and get that front part done. There we go. All right. All right, I'm gonna sand these. We'll get this together. All right, this is the bottom piece. I am going to glue and brad nail the two sides and the front on. Now we'll do the sides. Didn't turn out too shabby. I do have a little bit of a gap, and that is okay. I have a good friend, he's a master carpenter. He's been doing carpentry for like 30, 35 years. And he's got a saying, caulk and paint make a carpenter what he ain't. Anyhow, a little bit of putty, no problem. Remember, we're painting this anyways, but even if we were staining it, a little bit of putty, sanding it over is fine, and we're gonna put that strip over the bottom anyways. So it's gonna cover up all these holes and this gap. Now with these trim pieces, I'm gonna follow the same routine that I did doing the miters. I'm gonna cut the miter, I'm gonna cut it a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna bring it on the thing, measure it with the line. Real simple. Looking good there, if you can see that. Looking good there. Make my mark. I'm gonna put this on where I need it to be, clamp it in place so I can get a proper measurement. All right, got my mark. All right, so I know where to cut for that top piece. And now we will repeat for the bottom. All right, now we'll get these pieces cut. All right, we are all good to go. Oops. All right, so I'm gonna lightly sand, hand sand, just the edges, the little burrs from cutting it on the miter saw, and then we are gonna put this on. I did go ahead and put a little bit of putty on those edges. All right, for the top one, I'm gonna put some glue, I'm gonna clamp it, and then I'm gonna nail it from the inside. Oh, looks like my nails were a little too long. I thought I had more room. I'm gonna clamp it for now, so if that glue sets, at least it'll set in the right spot. So we'll use the punch again to punch them back out. I guess we're hitting through the front. All right, now we'll hit these sides. I just forgot something, my friends. We're gonna do the cleat first before we put these top ones in so I can nail it in from the side. I had a good hold already. I'm cutting the cleat by putting the blade at a 45-degree angle. So the cleat will go with the edge inside. I'm gonna use just a little bit of glue. Back to what we were doing here. Last side. There we have it. And now we will put the top on. All right, the top's got the glue. We'll just brad nail it in. I'm going to use my level to kind of estimate where the here we go. And this is just half the battle, of course, because next we're going to need to. I do have a couple of these to hand sand up just a little bit where the miter didn't exactly look as good as I would have wanted it, and I'll fill these holes in and have to hand sand those. But since overall we're going to paint it, we don't have to worry too much about that. One more thing, because I think it needs it, I'm going to route a decorative edge along the top. We'll get it stained, we got to let it dry. Then we'll get into the process of applying this crackling finish. Though I will warn you, It's a 24-hour job. You got to apply the glue and let it set for about 24 hours before you put the paint on. So we will actually be finishing this tomorrow, but it'll be in just a few minutes for you. All right, stand by. All right, we are stained up. I did a dark walnut because I want that brown to show through after the crackle effect. Hopefully that works out all right. Now we will apply the Titebond hide glue, which will give it the crackle effect. All right, here's what we're using to get the crackle effect that I found on Woodworkers Guild of America. It's Titebond genuine hide glue. Guess what it smells like? It doesn't smell that bad, but if you're not expecting it, then you're gonna wonder if you put on deodorant today or something. Anyhow, we got to put this on, and it's got to dry for a while. In the video, they did 24 hours, so I'm just going to follow what the video did. I'm going to apply this. You can apply it with a brush. It cleans up with water, and I'm going to let it sit and come back tomorrow, and we will put on the paint and watch the crackle effect happen in real time together, and hopefully it looks good. It comes out thick, but it brushes pretty easily. I'm just going to put it all over here. And I'm just brushing it like I would anything else. Obviously slightly tacky because it's a glue. All right, we're all done. Now we'll just let it sit till tomorrow and we'll do the paint, see how it turns out. All right, I'm just gonna use what I have on hand, which happens to be this. So I did a test piece last night and it turned out pretty good. Looks like aged antique paint. So let's see how it looks on this full mantelpiece. See how it turns out. Now, one thing is you don't want to take your time because the way the glue works is it starts sucking out the moisture from the paint. And that's what will start to give it the crackle effect. So you get some layers on there. You don't want to keep coming back and doing additional layers when the glue starts to, or the chemical reaction starts to happen where it's sucking in the moisture. So get your paint on there, be done with that, do the next, and it'll work its magic, so to speak. All right. Now I think for the antique effect anyways, you're not painting it like you're painting a wall where you're trying to hit every single nook and cranny, because with the crackle effect, it's gonna kind of do that as well. I'm speaking from a very inexperienced position when it comes to doing an antique or aged effect, so I could be completely wrong on that, but that's what it seems like to me. We'll see how this, see, it's already started. All right. See some of this effect starting to come out. Now they didn't recommend it, but what I'm thinking, you could even get a chisel or a scraper and start scraping it when it fully dries, some of this paint off, or maybe a piece of low grit sandpaper like 220 to kind of take some more of this off to make it look even more antique-ish, if you will. But this is coming out really nice as it's drying. We're gonna give it some more time to dry, and then we'll come back. I will mount it on the wall and we will see what it all looks like. All right, quick tip on mounting this with the French cleat. This is the other piece that we cut in half on the 45-degree angle on the table saw. Cut off a little bit on the edge so it's not as tight, and then countersink yourself some holes and You could do this a couple ways. You could do 16 inches to line it up with the studs if you want, or you can use wall anchors. I'm gonna skimp on any of that today just for the brevity, just for time's sake. And you would line it up with the studs or where you put your anchors, put it on the wall. I'm gonna start with the middle one. Use your level. This is still drying a little bit, but I think enough. As you notice, I didn't, just for the sake of time, I did not put any on the bottom. You obviously want to paint the bottom. Voila. So here's what I was talking about giving it an even more aged look. I just barely hit this spot, took that chunk off. I have a piece of 320 grit sandpaper, and we'll just, and it comes. And you kind of do this how you want. Just kind of flake it off, and it really just comes off incredibly easy. I'm not really even using the grip, kind of just pushing it off a little bit. And you could do this to your liking. Lighter, more heavier. Really quite simple. I'm doing this for the first time, so I'm really amazed how simple it is. This is probably the best time to do it. Not immediately after you put it on, but this is about 4 to 5 minutes after I painted it on. So it's coming off nice and easy. I imagine it'd be a little bit harder if you waited, but this seems to be the perfect time. See the crackle effect. I've always been interested in doing an antique, aging, distressing type thing. It always seemed a little bit daunting for me, and I just never messed with it because I generally don't like messing with paint. But this was super easy. So easy, even a caveman could do it. And I love the look. I'm sure there's maybe a little more advanced techniques, maybe some of you know, to make it look better, but this to me looks like it's 50, 60 years old. I don't know, really cool. So I hope you enjoyed this. Man, you probably could sell these for some good money. I bet if I look on Etsy, there's people selling these. And, oh, one quick tip. If you watch the video, you have to seal it with a non-water-based sealer. So like a spray polyurethane would probably work best. Because if it's water-based, it will start to affect that finish, right? Because it's all about absorbing the moisture. So if you spray a water-based, it's going to absorb it, and it could completely mess your look up. I don't know how much it'll mess it up, or maybe it'll make it look better. But they just recommended a solvent-based one, so like a spray polyurethane is what I do. So that is what I'm going to do after I finish this video to make sure it sets exactly like this. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like if you got something out of this. We'll see you on the next video.